think ultimately the equal protection under the law is going to be expanded to be certain to include the definition of marriage and making marriage equality there for everyone. It's just going to take the time to get there. In 10 years, this will look like an antiquated discussion, no different than equal protection for people based on gender and race. I think the political climate is such that won't be the case. I mean, the governor's made it clear that he's not interested in signing that, and, we don't need to vet the issue just for the sake of theater. We have much else to do. But at the end of the day, I think that all of us as advocates need to continue to speak out, and if we ever see the opportunity for the legislature and the governor to do the right thing, we should try to take advantage of that. I no different than anyone else, so who can predict what's going to happen? I was hopeful and optimistic that our own Supreme Court in New Jersey might have looked at the legislature in dealing with it as we were kind of directed to do through the courts without getting to the finish line in a way to allow them to interpret the law, which I think is clear that there can only be when marriage is when there's equal under the equal protection clause in our Constitution. Marriage should fall within that ambit and equal protection meaning to all. And, unfortunately, our own Supreme Court looked at things in a different way. Hopefully, as they've directed, as a record is made through the court system below, when it ultimately returns to our Supreme Court, they too will do the right thing.
I think Assemblyman McKeon is a little premature. Obviously, there's an appeal that's been filed already for it to go to the appellate division. To have one judge overturn the votes of 7 million people that's the height of judicial activism in our estimation. And we think that many people would want to see this continue on in the process of debate. I don't think that Judge Walker is really the one person that should overturn what the meaning of marriage has been for our nation, for our societies, for cultures for thousands of years. Well, anyone could claim that civil unions are not working, but I think that that's a very disingenuous statement, because if you look at the number of parties that have had access to civil unions in the gay community, as opposed to the numbers that have officially filed complaints, it's, I think, to date, 12 complaints out of close to 4,000 civil unions. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. Civil unions are working, and they need more time to continue the process. I think we're going to find out that it's going to be the same type of situation. I don't think New Jersey is basically ready for further redefining marriage. I think most people agree, hey, the government has issued benefits to same-sex couples. That's where it should end. Civil unions is where it should end.
I can show you volumes and volumes of documents of what we should do, and we need to stop studying, we need to start doing. And that's what Assemblyman McKeon has thought with Senator Smith. The two of them looked at the bay and said, what do we need, we can do right now? Some of these are going to be long-term solutions like flow of water and correcting the sewer plant so we don't take all the water out of the watershed, so we decrease the flow of Barnegat Bay. That's one of the major problems. But this is a step in the right direction.
I do want to talk about, the big picture. And that big picture is that there are many vicissitudes living here in the state of New Jersey that we could probably all tick off. But there are also many joys. And behind us is one of the biggest joys of what it means to be a resident of this great state.
The social, economic, and ecological benefits that we have enjoyed for generations because of the Barnegat Bay are countless. It touches all our lives in one way or another, but years of inaction by local and state governments are allowing it to die. We're now at a critical point, and these new strategies are being proposed to help our dying bay. The key question here is whether local and state decision makers will have the courage to adopt them and see them through. The bills to be voted on this Thursday contain important help for the bay. As you heard, healthy soils, proper fertilizer application and limited chemical content, along with stormwater, runoff improvements, and better planned future development are absolutely necessary.
Here, however, specifically to speak about Senate Bill 1815, which is titled the Ocean County Stormwater Management System Demonstration Act. I haven't seen the member of the Ocean County Board of Chosen Freeholders, and I would prefer really not to have to be here today, but it's my duty to be here to respond to some of the things in this, quote, demonstration act. Incredibly, no input has been asked from the Board of Chosen Freeholders with regard to this bill. No input whatsoever at all. In fact, Senator Smith, that is not incorrect. In fact, Senator Smith,
your business administrator and your county engineer, they indicated the Ocean County Board of Freeholders wanted no part.
I do believe, sir, that meeting took place in the last session of the legislature, and this is a new bill, 1815, which is not the one that was discussed before. You have never communicated directly with the Board of Freeholders. In fact, on January of this year, I wrote you a letter inviting you to meet with us, and you have so far ignored that. So let the facts remain what they are. Essentially, this bill labels Ocean County, quote, a convenient laboratory, and authorizes Ocean County to test pilot a countywide stormwater management utility as a demonstration project so that the state could judge the statewide feasibility of such an activity. Astonishingly, not one dime of state support is proposed to support such a utility. Instead, this utility, the Ocean County Board of Freeholders, is empowered to create such a utility that would have the power to collect fees and other charges on the owners or occupants, or both, of any real property in Ocean County. And to add insult to injury, you then want to take 5% of that take for yourselves back to Trenton. I think this is kind of an incredible way to do business.
I'm up here to say I support the bill, but now, let's think Ocean County, maybe we need to set up a Barnegat Bay Commission similar to what we've done in Lake George and other places, because if the government of the area that's in charge with giving resources and protecting this bay doesn't want to do it, we may have to look at another construct. And the reason I say that is, quite frankly, this bay is going to die. And we all know that. And that's why we're here today. Between sea nettles and nitrogen in the bay and so many other things, we need to do these retrofits. Without it, this bay is going to die.
I'm very encouraged because I have the unpleasant experience of going to talk meetings. And now here we're talking, but we're closest to acting, and that is a wonderful thing.